Amongst Nurgle's many minions, Ku'gath Plaguefather stands apart, not for his prowess in battle, nor for any incredible magical abilities, but instead for his work in the service of Nurgle. Not content to spread the plagues created by his lord, Ku'gath is intrigued by the breeding of new life, always tinkering to create the most potent and deadly of diseases. He even aspires to create a pox so potent as to infect the gods themselves, an act of sheer lunacy or a master plan to rule over all. He is remarkably detached from the suffering and misery that his plagues cause on the unfortunate souls infected, rarely pausing to consider anything but the raw data, as such considerations would detract from his search for the ultimate contagion. Nothing can be allowed to interfere with his great work. The Plaguefather rides into battle on his palanquin, carried by a straining gaggle of Nurglings, specifically bred to serve him. He is equipped with vials full of various concoctions, which he hurls at his enemies, infecting them and causing all manner of suffering. The vials are not his only ammunition though, as he also carries with him great sacks of squirming Nurglings, oozing fluids from disease-ridden pustules. These are thrown out around his palanquin, as a defensive measure or directly into the heart of enemy formations, and often the Nurglings burst on impact, drenching enemies with their innards. It is a sight unlike any other, able to turn the stomach of the most hardened veteran. While the balance of power is constantly shifting amongst the Chaos Gods, and the champions of each strive to tip the scales in their patron's favour, the Plaguefather, as one of Nurgle's great unclean ones, is strangely untroubled by the schemes and actions of others. He still plays his part in the great game, but cares more for using the battles as testing grounds for his experiments, to gather results on their effectiveness. Though his attitude can often be mistaken as one of indifference to Nurgle, it is more akin to an endless patience in regards to the outcome of the great game and Nurgle's goals. Ku'gath not only unleashes his plagues in the realms of chaos, as he can often be found on the mortal plane, releasing his creations upon the various races that dwell there, and searching for more reagents to perfect his work. A few drops of mortal blood, or a quart of centacle milk, can turn a simple pox into the most virulent of infectious agents, well worth the effort to harvest. Skaven bladder is a prime example of an ingredient that, while commonplace, as the verminous creatures inhabit every corner of the mortal realm, can have a profound impact upon a pox's behaviour, as the red pox, a concoction of clan pestilence that causes the victim's organs to liquefy, can be enhanced 100-fold when infused with the juices of the bladder. It is this persistence in harvesting specimens and experimentation that makes Ku'gath so deadly. His workshop, a dark, foul-smelling chamber in the decaying mansion of Nurgle, is a testament to this, with its rows of vials of exotic ingredients, vats of plague-ridden slurry, and cages full of live subjects of all manner of origin, from lowly Skaven to savage ogres to fellow demons. None are beyond experimentation. There is one race amongst those he has encountered that has managed to break through his scientific detachment, causing him great levels of frustration and annoyance. The dwarves, stunted creatures who possess a great resilience to disease, having managed to remain unscathed by all of Ku'gath's creations. It is not this hardiness to the Plaguefather's endeavours alone, however, that kindles his rage, but there is also his failure in direct conflict with the Dawi at the battle beneath the walls of Karazak-Karak, which continues to eat at him. His hatred for the dwarves is only calmed when he assures himself that they will be the first to die upon completion of his perfect plague. On the tabletop, Ku'gath was a level 1 wizard, able to use spells from the lore of Nurgle, which I covered in a previous video. He caused poison attacks and terror, and left a trail of slime behind as he moved, which prevented enemy units from receiving combat bonuses for flanking or rear charges. he also had the following special rules. Nurgling Infestation allowed the player to regain a wound for any Nurgling unit within 6 inches of Ku'gath at the start of each turn. This could be adapted to a passive ability where any Nurglings within a small area around Ku'gath would regenerate health in-game. Necrotic Missiles allowed Ku'gath to hurl Nurglings using the same rules as a stone thrower, except he could move and fire in the same turn. For Game 3, there is no need for any special rules here. Just give him a long-range attack where he throws his Nurglings out across the battlefield. As Ku'gath Plaguefather is so dedicated to the creation and experimentation of new plagues, it seems fitting that his faction receive a mechanic based on those actions. I would imagine a system where the player would be able to harvest ingredients and combine them to create plagues and poxes with differing effects. This would work in a similar fashion to Grom's Cauldron mechanic. We could then combine this with the ability to experiment on test subjects, captured in battle using mechanic just like Eltharions. Once a subject is captured, the player would have several options, being able to try different plagues to gauge their effectiveness, harvest fluids to improve the pox's effects, or to release them while infected in order to spread the disease amongst the captor's faction. The combination of the two mechanics, along with the ability to improve plagues that have been created over time, should make for an interesting system that is well suited to Nurgle's and Ku'gath's theme. I certainly expect Ku'gath to become a playable lord in Warhammer 3. The question is whether he will represent Nurgle's legions at launch or come as part of a DLC. Please take a moment to leave a comment or share if you like this video, as every little bit helps me grow this channel. Now, regular viewers will be aware of the community post I release each Wednesday, where I post images of characters or units from Warhammer 2 in silhouette, and the community can choose to test their knowledge. Those who figure out who or what the images are get a shout out in the video the following Monday. Well, it's time for this week's results. First, we have a bunch of hoodlums, aka Dark Riders. Second, there is the love of Toddy's life, their bond so deep that they shared eyes with one another. It's Khazrak One Eye. And the final image is quite a tough one, and proved elusive for all. It's the claws of a royal hippogriff knight from Bretonnia. So thanks to all who participated and answered the first two correctly. This video was brought to you with the aid of my patrons, thanks to Hot Apple Pie, Alexander, and Solarith Magnetar. I'm Great Tiger, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.